Hey there, we're Jason and Lauren. Jason and I fell in love almost 4 years ago, and were married in June of 2017. When Jason and I fell in love, our dreams always included expanding our family. Jason shares custody of his son Ethan, and we knew immediately we wanted to give him a sibling because he will be the best big brother. After 2 years of all the infertility medications, surgery, and even seeking out the nation's best infertility specialist, we were told that having a baby naturally wasn't going to happen for our family. But we didn't give up there, and we knew that God had different plans for our journey of faith, and that's when He ignited the passion in our hearts for adoption. In 2018, we started the process of becoming licensed foster parents with the intent of adopting, which included long hours of training, preparing our house for a new baby, and filling out the mountain of paperwork. In May of 2019, we were officially licensed to foster and adopt, and on that same day, we received our first foster placement of a 4-month-old little boy. As soon as that little one was placed into our arms, we fell in love in a way we've never fallen in love before. We got to nurse this baby back to health, provide a safe and loving home for him, and introduced him to a huge family that loved him the same way we did for 3 weeks, and then he was placed back with his family. Even though our hearts broke when he left, we knew at that moment that we were ready for a permanent addition to our family. That is where our story takes off. Through our journey to adopt, we have experienced many highs and many lows. We experienced 3 difficult failed adoptions, which caused us to question if God was closing this door for us. However, in February 2020, we received a call from our adoption attorney that changed everything. She had an expectant mother who heard about us and wanted us to raise her unborn child. As you can imagine, the emotions that came after that phone call were all over the place. We were nervous, anxious, worried, but also very excited to have another chance of growing our family. We began to pray over this mother, over this baby, and over this decision, and after several days, we felt God leading us to move forward with this adoption. A few weeks after we were matched, we received the contract, which detailed the amount of money we were going to need in a very short period of time. It was a shock to see the amount, but we also knew that if God was leading us in this direction, it was possible. It was at this point we started applying for loans, grants, and scholarships, as well as ways to raise some of the funds through fundraising opportunities. Before we had even been matched, Jason and I, along with family members, talked about hosting a spaghetti dinner. The spaghetti dinner was held February 22nd, 2020. Family members prepared the dinner and dessert from scratch, local businesses donated additional food items, and friends helped out in many ways, including entertainment throughout the evening. The night was amazing, and we raised around $3,000 for the adoption. This was tremendously helpful because a few weeks later, we needed to send the first half of the adoption dues. After the excitement of the spaghetti dinner, we continued to think of ways to raise funds, such as selling puzzle pieces, hosting garage sales, selling additional t-shirts, etc. But another unexpected part of this story began to unfold. The start of the COVID-19 pandemic and the effect it was having on our country and world. This made it nearly impossible to do further fundraising efforts. Through the advice of friends and family, as well as personal research, we began to look at an organization called Bree's Gift, an organization created to honor the life of Bree Isabel Johnley. We began the application process with the realization that many other couples hoping to adopt would also be applying. But we kept feeling the urge to apply anyway. What was the worst that could happen? Even if we were not chosen, we had still learned of an amazing organization that we could share with our friends and family. Fast forward to March. I, Lauren, received a call from Jenny, Bree's mother, and she asked if we could meet up with them for lunch to discuss our application and to answer some additional questions. I, of course, said yes. Now cue the nerves. I immediately called Jason, my mom, and other family members, and even a few of my coworkers. We needed all the prayers we could get to calm our nerves and allow us to be vulnerable about our journey. On March 14th, 2020, we met with the Johnleys, and we have never felt more connected to a family after only meeting them for a few minutes as we did with them. We told them all about our journey, from the heartaches we had experienced to the joys that we were beginning to experience. Remember that during this time, the coronavirus was moving at a fast pace, and things were beginning to shut down daily in our country. If we would have waited even a week later to meet the Johnleys, it might never have happened. After we told them our story, they shared with us why they have chosen to fund adoptions after the passing of their precious little girl. Then, they told us that after several weeks of going through the many applications they received, they had made their decision to help us fund the rest of the adoption. tears flowed from everyone at the table. What a huge blessing this was for us. They had no idea that we had been feeling a bit anxious about financing the rest of the adoption by July, especially with what was going on in our world. They didn't know any of that, but God did, and we truly feel like God put this family in our lives, not just for this amazing opportunity to help us bring home a baby, but to be in our lives forever. And that's where we are now. We are waiting the arrival of our little one and using this time to prepare our home. We are so thankful for an organization like Bree's Gift, who help families eliminate the financial burden of adoption. Thank you, John Lee family, for being a tremendous blessing to us. We consider you a special part of our family forever.